Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is 127th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Minor Walker, Brotherhood member TR, who's bought the Rome Julii faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Crypto, who's also bought the Rome Julii faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Britain faction. So that's our team there. It looks a pretty good team, but you wait till you see the other team. This should be a great battle for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at my old Britain army. Now this is a very old Britain army, that probably from about 8 or 9 years ago. So I thought we'd just have a quick look at it. As you can see, I've got the Chosen Swordsman there. I think it's about 8 or 9 units of the Chosen Swordsman. That's their elite infantry. And then I've got 5 units of head hurlers. Now these guys, as they say, they hurl heads, and these heads are effective against armour, and also have got a big fear factor as well. It frightens nearby enemy troops being hit by those heads, and of course lowers their morale. So they're quite good troops to have. And then we have the infamous British chariots. I think most people would agree that the Brit chariots are possibly the best chariots in the game. They don't run amok. As you know, if chariots run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike, but these chariots don't do that. They've got really good specifications and are a really good unit to have in your army there. Now most modern players that bring Brits brings about 12 or 14 head hurlers and chariots, because the head hurlers are so effective as well as the chariots. But this is a very balanced army, and as I say, this is an old army from about 8 or 9 years ago. Let's see how it does on the modern battlefield. And here is the other team. We have RTW player HDB. Numid is Rouge, and he's bought the Rome Julii faction. And then we have Bane the Mighty, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then we have Scorpion King SR, who has bought the Macedon faction. As you know, Scorpion King's been playing RTW right from the very first day it's come out, so he's got a lot of experience there. So there's the enemy team. So this should be a good game to watch. Some good factions and some good armies there. I hope you enjoy the battle. A lot of good RTW players actually put a different name on themselves sometimes, so these players may be known by a different name who we're fighting today. But it'll be interesting to see how well the Brits do against these armies anyway. At this very early stage of the battle, you can see that Scorpion King SR has brought his archers round to the flank of our team there, obviously with a view to fire arrows into the flank of my allies there. As you know, firing arrows head on into Roman infantry doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you can get archers round the flank, or better still the rear, you can really start causing casualties to Roman armies there. As you can see here, Brotherhood member Crypto is moving out several infantry units there. He's not just going to stand there and let those archers shoot him in the flank. He's going to do something about it, and as you can see, he's moving his infantry units, 5 infantry units out there to just to kind of sort the situation out a bit there. As you can see, they've got the Macedon cavalry out there as well, plus there's pikemen as well. If you notice that my Brit army, I'm keeping at the back because they're extremely susceptible to archer damage. If they're anywhere near archers, my army will get damaged a lot, so I'm moving them right at the back there, ready to move in when I think it's the time, when my allies need the most help there. As you can see, Scorpion King's moving his archers a little bit further out to the flank, plus his cavalry there, probably with a view to try and stretch the front line that we've got. Knowing that my Brit army is at the back there, if he can stretch our army out as much as he can and maybe leave openings for his allies to attack there. quite good strategic move there by Scorpion King. You can see he's using his years of experience there. You can see Crypto is still advancing with his 5 urban units against those 3 Macedon pikemen there, pushing them back all the time. And you see, what you can do in these situations, you can just stand there and let yourself be killed by these archers, be threatened and intimidated by the enemy movements, or you can do something about it and be aggressive yourself. And as you can see, Crypto's moving his infantry out there. If you notice, he's bringing his cavalry across as well to help himself on that left flank. And if you notice, our ally, a Brotherhood member TR, has also brought his cavalry over as well here. But as you've seen in other battle videos I've put on, you don't really want to mix your cavalry with enemy pikemen. So I'm sure that both of my teammates here that's got years of experience in RTW will not want to get mixed up with those pikes. But if they can hit some of those archer units with some lightning strikes, maybe rout them or kill a lot of them, then probably that's something they'd look at on this left flank. But with that Macedon cavalry threatening there as well, they're going to have to be careful with what they do. You see SR bringing his couple of Macedon cavalry units there to threaten the Julii ones. Now you might think that was strange, but if Julii cavalry had charged in, or if you notice that Scorpion King had archers there as well, so those archers would have been firing into the Julii cavalry as well, so it probably would have had an advantage there. And plus he had the other Macedon units behind his pikemen there, which he would have probably brought into the fray as well. But as you can see, both TR and Crypto were not going to kind of be intimidated or just stand around waiting to be killed there. They've decided to be aggressive and have come out fighting against this left flanking movement by Scorpion King. I think this battle was fought sometime last year. I'm not exactly sure. It might be 5 or 6 years old, 5 or 6 months old now. As you can see TR does a lightning strike on that archer unit there with his cavalry unit, just try and kill as many as he can there. And now he's charging his cavalry units. And can you see that Crypto's bringing his cavalry over as well in an attempt to try and help TR there. But I think two of TR's cav units there have just been taken out by the Macedon cavalry. But the damage that TR may well have done to the archer units that it hit could well be worth it there in the long run. You can see Crypto's brought his cavalry across there to support TR. But once again, do you see the pike faction? Those Macedon pike factions don't really want cavalry, as I said before, getting mixed in with those pikes, unless, of course, you can hit them in the flank or the rear. As you can see, there's some Brutii cavalry over. Now, if I was that Brutii cavalry, I bet I'd be thinking to charge into this engaged Julii infantry here. See that engaged Julii infantry in front of the Macedon pikemen? But Crypto's anticipated that and brought his cavalry over, so now there's going to be a big cavalry hit there by both teams. If you notice now, Scorpion King's bringing a Macedon cavalry unit into this as well. Now at this stage of the battle, if you notice at the rear of the battle there, can you see I'm bringing my chariots forward? If you notice, my chariots are going to charge in there just to support and help my allies if I can. But if you notice at the rear, can you see that Macedon pike unit coming forward into the fray? Can you see that Macedon? Now the last thing I want to do is get my chariots tangled up with those pikemen. Chariots have died very, very quickly against pike units. So I've charged in there, I've done what I can, but I'm deciding I'm going to pull my chariots back. And it wouldn't surprise me if Crypto decided to bring his last of his cavalry units back as well, seeing that pike unit there. In fact, you can see now that I think it's Crypto's bringing over his infantry to support his cavalry there. So at this time on our left flank, it looks like things have started to kick off a little bit here. I think TR has brought some infantry over as well here on the left flank. Nice bit of teamwork there. I say with chariots can be battle winning troops if you use them properly, but if you get them anywhere near pikes, they will die very quickly. Did you notice there, as the enemy Brutii cavalry charged in, Scorpion King put his pikes up so not to cause any friendly kills there. As you know, friendly cavalry gets killed on friendly pikes. Right, now here's my Brit army. Can you see I'm advancing the head herders forward. Remember, those heads that they throw are effective against armor, plus they have a fear factor, so they lower the enemy's morale as the heads come in. If you notice, I've got my little British infantry army there of chosen swordsmen in front, ready to attack. There's a close-up. There's a close-up of the head herders throwing all those heads into the Brutii infantry, and that will be really lowering the morale of that Brutii infantry there. If you notice now, I'm probably going to charge in my chosen swordsman as that Roman infantry advances. There you go. I'm going to charge in my chosen swordsman there. I'm going to move my head herders round to the flank and rear where I can start throwing heads in. What I'm probably going to do is move my chariots up now round this right flank of ours and charge them directly in to the Brutii infantry. So the Brutii infantry now have got head herders throwing heads at them. They're being hit by chariots, so that's a double fear factor. I'm just going to pause the game for a second here. Just show you what I mean by infantry fighting. Can you see the chariots and the head herders doing their damage? Now you can look at that Roman unit there. Can you see frightened by chariots? So the morale of any unit that is frightened goes down a heck of a lot. So these units are ripe for routing. So as you can see, the heads are going in on them, plus the chariots are charging in, plus my chosen swordsmen are charging in from the front as well. So that's a heck of a lot for a Roman army to hold there. It wouldn't surprise me if all these guys charging in is going to cause a mass rout of this Roman Brutii army. Well, we've got the game paused. Let's look over on the left flank, and as you can see, my allies, Julii army, have done extremely well over on the left flank and seems to have won over on that left flank there. So well done to them. As I say, good aggressive attacking by them both. And there's a few of the Macedon units left, but most of the enemy on that side seems to have gone now. But meanwhile, back over onto our right flank here, just to see how the Brits are doing. Let's see how well they do from here. And as I say, with the chariots, head herders, and the chosen swordsmen charging in, this Brutii army is ripe for routing. And as you can see there, that's now caused a mass rout of the Brutii army there. If you notice that the enemy Scipii infantry there is still very much intact, just behind its Brutii ally, but its Brutii ally routing those units, routing through those Scipii units, will lower the morale, because whenever they see their allies routing, it lowers the morale of those troops. If you notice, I'm just bringing my chariots out further to the right. I've actually rallied my infantry. I'm taking my head herders forward, but I've rallied my infantry ready to attack. And there we go. We're going to attack with my chosen swordsman there, plus the head herders are throwing heads in, and bang, here comes the chariots as well, charging them in. And as those chariots hit, bang, as they go into those enemy Scipii infantry there. And bearing in mind, those head herders are still throwing those effective against armour heads that are lowering the morale of the enemy. And there you can see most of the enemy Scipii infantry have now routed. As you can see, most of the enemy Scipii army has now routed that was in that little melee there. The combination of head herders, chariots, and the attacking power of those chosen swordsmen, as you can see how effective they were against that Scipii army there. There's still some Scipii units left, enemy Scipii units left, that we'll have to try and take out, but as I say, I really wanted to show you the power of what the Brits could be. And even in a balanced army, as I said earlier, a lot of modern players that bring Brits maybe bring 12 or 14 head herders and the chariots. But if you notice, this is a very balanced Brit army. As I say, it's from 8 or 9 years ago, but it seems to be still quite effective on the modern battlefield of today. So, yes, as you say, it's quite effective. Britain is a funny faction though. They can be battle winning troops with their chariots and head herders, and the attack of the chosen swordsman. But if you use them, put them in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can just get a mass rout from them. So they've got kind of a strange type of fragility to them if used in the wrong way. But as you've seen in this battle, if you use them maybe in a correct way, you can see how much damage they can do. And it'll be interesting to see what the kills are at the end of this as well. Can you see? I'm just going to ride with the chariots a little bit now. Can you see the chariots? They actually throw some of the enemy troops up in the air as they actually hit them. You can actually see some of the enemy troops being thrown up in the air with the when the chariots hit them.
Enemy army runs. Now.
And there you can see it's we've nearly routed all of the enemy team now. So I hope you're reasonably impressed by how the Brits fought there, and I think they can be a very underestimated force if used correctly. So if you fancy using them, after watching this battle, please do. First thing I'd like to say is really well played to all the team, to both teams there. Both teams played very well there. If you notice that the enemy have not got a lot of kills, but that was because of the speed we hit them with the Brits there and the Brit chariots and head herders, so they didn't get much of a chance to kill our team. If you notice, the Brits managed to get the highest kills there, so that was quite an interesting thing. And I thought maybe to have a look at the statistics of the battle to see at what units killed how many troops would be quite interesting as well. So there you go. That's the battle finished, and really well, as I said, well done to both teams there. I'd like to say really well done to Crypto and TR there. I thought that their movements, their aggressive movements at the front was very, very good. And here we are having a look at the statistics now. As you can see, very good kills for the team there. Yeah, so very well played to both teams.